it going? Almost. It's thinking. Slow progress bar.
Yeah.
I think we're good. I think it's there now, streaming on live on Facebook.
All right, welcome everyone. Back.
It's been quite the hiatus, man.
Yes.
We've been on pause about 6 weeks now. You know, not for good reasons, but we got through it. So for those of you who are like, where's CV Tech Talk been on Twitter and Facebook? At the end of June, my dad passed away, so we've kind of been dealing with that and other things. And you know what? We've had our time to kind of decompress, and you know, it's the right time, beginning of the school year, and now we're back. So it's good to be back. It's fun. It's healthy. It's therapeutic to be here on CV Tech Talk. And you know, I think my dad definitely would want us to be doing this. I mean, he always loved to pop in and watch whenever he got a chance. My mom would start playing it, and he'd watch. And so he definitely he liked some of our recent CV Tech Talks we had John Caribbo on. My dad and John Caribbo go back to the mid early 80s, and with my dad who introduced me first to John when I was 5 years old. And we had Ron Jenkins on in June when we were talking about racial inequality, another former teammate of John Caribbo and another former Fresno State football player. So my dad was really proud of the direction we're taking the show, bringing people on, and so we're definitely dedicating a lot of this to him. So he's in there. He's liking this, I'm sure. So
absolutely,
we're back. The welcome tweet just dropped on Twitter, and it says, obviously like normal, introduce yourself and tell us where you're from and what your job is. And on a lighter note, what songs are on your summer playlist?
Now you also need to introduce who's here with us tonight.
Oh, that's right. We have a guest.
I was going to say our guest, but
I thought
more than a guest.
I thought I was looking in the mirror. You know, it happens so often. There was that one chick from Woodlake who kept twice in one day. Thought we were got us mixed up, but we sure about that. So I'm not looking in the mirror, but today we have our good friend and the new Director of Innovation at Q, Joe Marquez. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you for having me. I thought this was like where the cool kids came, so I had to wear my cool kids glasses. But I'm gonna go ahead and take them off for the moment, and I'll go ahead and put on my digital glasses right there to make it a little bit easier for everybody. Adam, I also want to say, condolences to you. I know it's been a rough road. I didn't have the same relationship with my dad. I mean, my dad that you did, but I did with my grandfather. I know how hard it is to lose a mentor and someone we love. So I just want to say salute to your dad, to somebody that raised an amazing human being like yourself, deserves all the accolades in the world. So salute to your dad.
Agreed. He'd be liking that we're drinking wine now as well. He'd be drinking one with us for sure. Speaking of wine, Joe, so what we do every week when we come on CV Tech Talk, we feature a different wine. And so what we've started doing now is we have a reason. We try to find a reason that it aligns our topic, who our guest is here on CV Tech Talk. So today we have, this is called Mossback Chalk Hill, but the reason that we chose this is because it's a 26, where's the show right here? It's a 2016 cap. And so 2016 is the year that both Adam and I, for the first time ever, attended the National Q Conference.
Yep.
Which really isn't that long ago.
It's not. Lots happened since then.
Right. And so because we're celebrating Q and we're talking about all that Q has done for us, we thought we would celebrate the first time we were at National Q. And now, goodness, I mean, Q has become so much of our life. I mean, Joe, you were at our public wedding at Fall Q, actually. So
I have the sticker. It proves I was there. I have the sticker.
That's right. So, and Joe gave us 3D printed name badges too.
Right. We have that up here in the office.
We do. This isn't an office; it's a wine cellar.
That's right.
Don't know about the green screen.
What green screen?
Don't ruin the mirage. Don't ruin
right.
Don't break the fourth wall.
That's right. So, Joe, tell us what has Q done for you?
Oh, good Lord!
Before we talk about what it could do for others, yeah.
Good Lord. The word Q just brings up so many emotions for myself. I mean, just, floods of memories just fill my brain, people, experiences, opportunities that Q has brought. And the funny thing is, I had no idea who Q was. I think it was like back in 2011 or 2012. No idea it existed. And a fellow teacher of mine said, "Hey, there's this mixer." The word Q. It's all right. I can hear my voice coming back. It's all good. The thing about it is I had no idea what Q was, and a fellow department member of mine said, "Hey, why don't you go? It's a bunch of crazy people like yourself." So I said, "All right, I'll go." So I went to a CVQ mixer, and I ended up getting on the board that night. Imagine that, being a board member just by attending a mixer. And I got to meet some crazy people there. The first time I met John Carippo. I had no idea who he was, but he treated me like family, and I got to meet a whole bunch of people. And I got to meet all the Will Kimbley, Julie Kimbley, just all these amazing people that I got to meet, and it changed my life. I could have easily said, "No, I'm tired." It was after football practice or wrestling practice or badminton practice. One of those practices it was after. I could have said, "I'm tired. I'm going to go home." But I went, and it changed my life, because Q has allowed me to realize that I may be crazy, but the world needs a little crazy in it, right? The world needs people
Amen.
that push the boundaries, that don't follow the status quo, that step out of line and say, "Hey, wait a minute. That's not the way we should do it. Let's try this way." And Q allowed me to embrace that part of me and not hold it in like a lot of teachers do. So to me, that's what Q is, and that's what Q means to me. And that's why I've been using the word Q-munity, because it's a community of educators that can embrace each other. And the only way we're going to get through this time right now is together. And Adam, I always say this, that teaching is a collaborative sport. And if you're doing it alone, you're doing it wrong. And if you're not doing it with Q, you might be doing it the wrong way. So that's what I say when you ask me, what does Q mean to me?
Yeah. Awesome. How about you, Adam? What does Q mean to you?
What does Q mean to me? You know what? Joining Q was it was a watershed moment in my career. Like it's like BC and AD. It's before Q and after Q, and it's night and day, the transformation that in my craft since I got involved in Q, and I just haven't looked back. It was like a drug. It was addicting. I couldn't get enough. I couldn't wait for the next mixer. Couldn't wait for the next Twitter chat. Just the next opportunity to see people, and it forced me. I guess lack of term, it forced me to challenge myself, because like I saw all these great people, I wanted to be like them, and I knew I could, but I had to prove myself, and in challenging myself professionally, it's taken me in such a whole new way in the world. Like we talk about in our book coming out very soon.
Oh yes, that's
we
right.
have a book coming out.
So I was reading the tweet. So
and in our book, we talk about how the work-life fusion, not a work-life balance. You love what you do. You're always 100% a teacher. You're always 100% yourself. And Q really kind of brought that, mentality to life. That some of my best friends in the whole world right now are the people I met at Q. And we got married at Q. I mean, it doesn't get more work-life fusion than that. And we do all this Q stuff for fun. Nine times out of 10, we're not even getting paid for it, but we love it. We're passionate about it. And Q is just, it helped me bring, personal Adam, professional Adam, and just smash it together.
That's funny. Adam smashing together. That's what creates amazingness, right, in life. So Adam crashing together, right? That's a great analogy.
Good stuff. We do have, I just want to give a shout out. We've got some people watching on Facebook Live. We got Sarah Smith from Sanger, amazing teacher, librarian, and tech coach. And they are starting with students tomorrow. We've got, Judy Blakeney is here in the San Juan Capistrano area.
She's in Mission Viejo.
Now she's in Mission Viejo, okay. Sorry. And so glad that Judy is here. We also have Les Dienerstein.
Yep, he's a regular.
One of our good friends. And Sarah Vandermeiden.
Vandermeiden.
Thank you. She lives in Dinuba, teaches nearby Celia, and Eric Garcia, Kern Q into house too.
That's
so
right.
Glad you're all here. Kim Calderon is also on the Twitters. So absolutely. Excellent.
So keep going, Rosa.
Kim, crazy side T. Kim, we love you.
One.
Kim's giving you and Efren a big shout out on Twitter right now.
Oh yeah, that super share we had today. God, man, I'd say Efren's amazing with that EL stuff. Reaching those kids, that's a very important thing. And so I bow down to Efren for everything that he gets to be doing there. So a shout out to Efren. Good job, man.
So now Les said he misses the Friday night gatherings. So, you talked about this work-life fusion, Adam. And we have definitely, with you, Joe, and with others from Q, we become friends. We meet each other in ed tech professionally, and then we're still ourselves. We connect. And so what Les is talking about is when COVID all started and there was a shutdown and such in the spring, Adam and I started. I like the tie. Is that a tie or a scarf? I can't tell. A tie. Okay.
It works over, right? We got to relax.
That's right. So we started virtual happy hours with our friends and family.
Yep.
And the interesting thing about it is we learned so much about the Zoom platform by doing that.
That's right.
And we had a good time doing it. And so we did, take a hiatus from that for a while as well.
Yeah, people are clamoring for it. So we might resurrect the Friday night Zoom happy hours this weekend. So
absolutely.
It's funny because we started doing that and we ended up becoming Zoom masters ourselves just by doing that. And then all of a sudden, Q calls us, "Hey, can you train people on Zoom?" We're like, well, "Yes, we can." Yes, we can.
Yes, we know how to live stream onto Facebook and YouTube Live. Yes, we know how to.
So we have a whole lesson series, three lesson series on how to become a Zoom master.
Yeah. Well, you start with getting started.
That's right.
Then you zoom forward, and then you become a Zoom master.
That's right. All because we were
three-part series,
hanging out with friends, drinking, and Zooming.
Okay, so Sarah wants us to have the virtual happy hour.
All right, I guess Sarah's calling for it. Renee's asking for it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's asking for it.
I'm sure Stephanie Filardo will want to be there.
Back by popular demand.
Absolutely.
So again, on Twitter, we have Les Dienerstein again here saying that he doesn't want to knock ISTE, but he feels Q has made their content priced for people who are a bit cash grab. He says that Gold Coast Q just released all their videos from their recent event for $20.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's a great. So what's Q is doing for you now? They just curated a bunch of stuff. Here you go, $20. It's affordable for anybody, and definitely helping people out.
Les is saying, do you know you can click an option where you allow the computer audio to be heard by other people? Oh yeah, on Zoom. If you're talking about Zoom, I have seen that. Yeah, absolutely. I haven't tried it myself, but others have.
It's good. Yeah. It's a good way to do a watch party with I don't know if that's legal. Maybe I shouldn't mention this, but it's a good way to do a watch party with friends at a distance. So just saying. Saying.
True. That's an interesting idea. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm still learning about Zoom like practically every day because teachers will say, "Oh, can I do this?" I said, "Just a moment, let me check." "Why, yes, you can." "Okay, this is the setting. This is all that." So something I found interesting is you can see up to 49 videos at once. Like, so if your class, you want to watch those kids, but only if you have a certain CPU. So like my MacBook will not allow me, it's not compatible and I can't see all 49 faces. You have to go in and change it in the settings anyway, even allow it. I haven't tried it on the iMac yet. I'm wanting to do that. But yeah, teachers were asking about that. So, I looked it up and clicked around and figured it out. So what we do. That's what we do. We just click around, right? Right, Joe? Are you a tinkerer with technology?
That's the best way to do it. If you don't break something, you're not learning, right? That's what I always say. And the way that you figure it out, I call that Mr. Miyagiing it, right? Mr. Miyagi, just doing it for fun, just doing it for this, and then you could turn it into an actual purpose. I call that Mr. Miyagiing, and I think teachers need to do that more often, introducing a new tool into their classroom.
I like it.
So question 2 just dropped, and it says, what does Q do or it refreshed on me here. What does Q do or what can Q do differently to help connect with the greater community? So Joe, we'll throw that your way.
So, I've been thinking about this a lot, right? How can we get members, how can we get teachers to gravitate towards Q? And, it goes back to this, what does Q stand for? The acronym, it doesn't stand for it anymore, but it used to stand for Computer Using Educators. And this was back in the 70s, right? When computers were very rare. And so it was a small group of educators who used computers. But now you're hard pressed to find an educator who doesn't use a computer daily, whether it's for email or this or that. So every teacher is a computer using educator. So no longer is Q is not meant for the techie teacher. Q is not meant for the teacher who knows how to use technology. Q is for the teacher who has pedagogy in their bones, students in their heart, and technology as a mindset. That's who Q is for. So I need people to understand that Q is not for a subsect of educators. Q is educators. Every educator, from K to university, from science to English to history to math to ELA. Q is you. So when I say community, I mean it's us, it's educators, it's education. That's what Q is all about. Also, Q is not an individual. Q is not a person. And it took me a long time to realize that. To me, Q was John Carippo. Q was Will Kimbley. Q was Brian Briggs. Q was a person, but Q is not. Q doesn't belong to one person. It belongs to all of us. Q is Kim Calderon. Q is Adam Juarez. Q is Catherine Goyette. Q is Dustin Elias. Q is you who is listening. That is Q. It's not a person. It's a feeling. It's a Q community. So what can Q do for the greater community? Bring us together. Bring back hope. Bring back optimism. Bring back the feeling of what it means to be a teacher who's trying something new and not understanding or knowing that it's going to work, but they still try it anyways. That's what Q is. Q is tamasha. And if you don't know what tamasha is an Indian word that means fun, exciting, important, and uncertainty, all rolled into one. Tamasha is teacher and teacher is Q, and that's what Q is. So what can Q do for you? Everything. What has Q done for me? Changed my life. And I'm not just saying that because I now work for Q. I decided to work for Q because Q did so much for me. I want to give back as much as it gave me. I'm gonna respond with my inner JFK. Ask not what Q can do for you, but what you can do for Q, and then Q will do it back. That's what Q is. And Adam, I'm still not convinced that I got this job because I still think people think I'm Ed Campos. So sometimes they go, congratulations, you deserve it. I'm like, I'm Joe Marquez, right? I'm just double checking. I'm not Ed Campos. But to me, that's what Q is. And so Q is not a clique of educators. Q is not a section of educators. Q is educators. So tell your friends because Q is free.
Right.
Being a member of Q is complimentary because Q is there for you. Q is not there to make money. Q is not there to be the top dog in education. Q is there to be there when you need us. Q is there to be there for someone to ask a question, for a shoulder to cry on. That's what Q is there for. And I know somebody mentioned ISTE. We're not even going to talk about ISTE. We're talking about Q because we are family. And we love you. I love you. Adam Cat, I love you. You're great friends. I would not have been as good of friends with you if it wasn't for Q.
Right.
And I'll tell you, Adam and I used to play basketball when we were younger. We didn't even realize it until we started talking about it. We saw a mutual friend and we're like, hey, yeah, we used to play basketball together.
It was like 2 years. We're like, dude, we couldn't figure out. We knew each other from somewhere else. And then Omar walks in. We're like, oh, Eaton All-Stars.
That's it. It was at Eaton. That's right, in Fresno.
That's right.
But it's hilarious because it took Q to remind us of that. So
I like
that's what Q is to me.
You talked about connecting educators together and bringing them together, and then you threw out a name for our other twin brother from another mother, Ed Campos. He's our CVQ president here. He's been doing a lot with these virtual meetups. And, like, he's been crushing it with that, and he's really been setting the trend for a lot of other affiliates too. So what can Q do for you? We're adapting. We used to always do the in-person stuff. Now we're doing it virtually and getting more people involved. So it's I definitely want to give Ed a shout out for kind of pioneering a lot of that stuff with this whole midnight pedagogy. And then we did a handful in the end of the school year of CBQ virtual meetups, and they were very well attended and well received. So definitely a shout out to Ed and the rest of our board.
Absolutely. Let's see. So I did want to, what did I want to, oh, here is an idea. Oh, first of all, Smith said, Joe, that the Mohawk is helping distinguish you from Ed.
Well, there we go.
So that's helping a lot. And I've also never seen Ed wear a tie quite like that either. So excellent. Love that.
So I think we're finally starting to distinguish ourselves. I mean, you got the Mohawk. I'm going with the Kike Hernandez mustache today. I've been on Zoom so many times lately, and I keep looking at myself, and I've been seeing all that gray. I'm like, I'm tired of it. All right, I'm gonna go for the Kike Hernandez mustache. See if that it makes it easier to stare at myself when I'm on Zoom.
I would have said that it was the 90-pound weight loss that helps me distinguish between my past and present form. But the Mohawk helps.
Yeah, of course it. Yeah, obviously. All right. So question 3 dropped, and it says, what would you say to teachers who have not thought of joining Q because they don't consider themselves techie? Love this question.
Well, you know, I might have jumped the gun a little bit because I kind of told you about that already, right? But
I think you got it. But go ahead and reiterate.
Q is not techie teachers. Q is teachers who love students, who love pedagogy, and are now using technology to amplify that pedagogical approach. You know, Q members, I said this before, and I'll say it again, used to be thought of on their campus as crazy. Like it's the people that are doing things that other teachers wouldn't even dream of, and sometimes that ostracize them from their group. You know, I did a survey with teachers and asked, you know, who is the people that they lean on for support. And I'll tell you, basically none of them said their teammates at their schools. Basically none of them said their coworkers. They said other Q members, other organizations, other people. And to me, that scares me a little bit, because you should be able to rely on your teammates the most. But a lot of people feel like because they do some of these outlandish things, they get ostracized a little bit from their group. And we have to understand that there's a fine line between crazy man on the mountain and prophet on the mountain, and it's perspective and timing. And we're right now that all of us crazy people who've been shouting from the rooftops since 2014, we're now being looked at as the prophets on the mountain. Exactly. And we have to tell teachers, look, I'm not special. If I can do this, you can do this. Just follow me. Come on, let's go. You know, that the Proverbs, I forget which Proverbs it is, but it's walk with the wise and become wise. That's truly what I've done. I could not be where I am today without the people that have got me here. One of the questions I got when I was interviewing for the Q position they said, brag about yourself. And I said, I can't brag about myself until I've talked about the people who have made me who I am. I talked about you, Adam. I talked about you, Kat. I talked about John Carippo. I talked about Will Kimbley. I talked about Ed Campos. I would not be who I am without people to push me to be who I am. So before bragging about myself, I must brag about my friends. And those friends came from Q. So what would I tell people who don't think they can join Q because they're not techie? Do you want support? Do you want a shoulder to lean on? Do you want somebody to talk to? Do you want somebody that understands you? Do you want somebody who's going to always be there? That somebody is in Q. So find them. Join them. Your best friend is waiting for you. All you have to do is join. And it's free. I don't even need your credit card number. Just join.
That's right. So Kim Calderon is saying very similar things. She says her favorite thing about Q is the inclusivity. So again, we take everyone. You care about kids, you want to learn, you want to grow, we're here for you. So she says it doesn't matter if you're an expert or a novice, everyone is welcome with open arms. And then also Sarah Vandermeiden said that for her, Q has always been more about mindset and tech. So yes, tech is presented, but Q is really about mindsets and getting excited about our profession. That's great. I love that statement. It's about getting excited about our profession. And that's not to say that it's always, it's always roses. It's always, we're looking through rose-colored glasses and it's this amazing, that there aren't struggles. But we're, like you said, we're here to support each other and we are excited about what we do. We're passionate about it. So yeah, if you love kids, you love students, you want to serve them, learn how to serve them even better, so to speak, then yeah, join Q.
Yeah, I'm glad what Joe said earlier about when he's interviewing about, before I brag about myself, let me talk people who help me get there. A slide that I always put in my beginning of my presentations is a slide. It's where I put the whatever conference I'm presenting at. Here's the hashtag. Follow the hashtag. Connect with people. But I put these. I have these PNGs of Andre the Giant and the Big Show with my Bitmoji standing on top of their shoulders. I said, when you join Q and you become an educator, you're going to stand on the shoulders of giants. That's where I got into Q and I met all these giants. I've been standing firmly on their shoulders, and that's helped me to take my teaching into a whole new level. And now I'm trying to pay it back. People are now standing on my shoulders, and it's just going to continue to multiply that way. So yeah, one of the first, part of the best advice I got, my first Q event, I bumped into John Grippo. For back then, he was just an old friend from Fresno State football, and we're catching up. He's like, "Hey, are you on Twitter?" I'm like, "Not really, just following celebrities and sports." It's like all the educators, all the experts are out there giving away their knowledge for free, and he's like, "You need to stand on the shoulders of these giants, and you'll never look back." And he couldn't have been more correct. And it was Q where I met all these giants in person for the first time. It's like we go to Palm Springs. It's like a big old gigantic family reunion, and you get to see everybody those giants that you knew online. You see them in person, and you develop those really deep relationships and continue to feed off each other.
Yeah,
And they don't consider themselves giants.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just teachers. And that's the best thing about it. Nobody thinks they're a giant. They're just a teacher. Well, maybe Kyle Anderson, he's pretty tall.
Yeah,
and Dustin Ellis, he's pretty tall too. Those are some pretty tall giants. But other than that,
that's funny you said that, because the first time I met those guys, again, we knew each other online, and then I bump into them and like, "Hey, that's Adam." "Oh man, what's up?" And like, "Dude, you were way shorter than we thought you were." Like, well, you guys are like 6'5" each, so yeah, everyone's short compared to you guys. But,
oh, Nishant is asking if we're in a wine cave. We wish this was real.
Wish.
Oops. I just gave away the fact that we have a green screen yet again. Bummer. I'm not a good liar. I wish this was a wine cave with it that was
So question 4 just dropped, and it says, "What are some of your favorite tips and tricks for teachers for distance learning and face-to-face instruction?" Best tips and tricks for distance and face-to-face.
I love the hacks. I love the hacks that teachers can use with the tools they're already using. I mean, there's so many Google slide hacks out there that teachers can utilize right now. I love to do something called "Who's in the Room." I've changed it to "Who's in the Zoom," of course. And you get the students, you hand it out with every student can edit. You hand it out that way in Google Classroom, or just give them a link in the Zoom. And you go and tell the kids, claim a frame and just bring in images that represents you. Who are you, right? Who's in this Zoom? Just bring in images. And that's a little bit of a hack, because a lot of teachers don't know you can have a whole class Google slideshow. And then at the very bottom, there's those 6 little squares. Click on that, it becomes grid view, and you can see all the students working in real time. It's so fun. I always love to utilize Flippity, right? You at the very beginning of the year, you have them, do a little Google form. You ask them, what's your name? What's your favorite food? What's your favorite book? What's your favorite movie? Just to get to know them. But then you grab their name, throw it into a Flippity, and you have instant group making, which can be done in Zoom and in face-to-face, right? You can use the Zoom hack where you have 12 rooms. You tell the kids, okay, if you're in one, rename yourself to 1. If you're in 2, rename yourself to 2, and I'll throw you in those Zoom rooms. So those are always fun to do as well. And then of course, I love my Flipgrid hacks. I love the grid masks. You make, like right now, we always talk about the background. What about the foreground? And so you
Right.
can create these masks, that mask part of the foreground to create a new thing. So we have the Daily Prophet grid mask where you can pretend like you're part of the Harry Potter universe. We have the Iron Man HUD grid mask where you can act like you're inside Iron Man's helmet. All these fun little things that you can do. And the cool thing about it is this. I'm sure other teachers have done it, and Flipgrid listens. So now they call them frames, right? So now they're putting all these different frames in there. I used to do something called PIP whiteboard because during this distance learning time, I saw all these kids doing whiteboards, but you missed out on their faces. So I created a mask where you cut out a window so you can see the student's face, but they can still work on a whiteboard. And now they have the whiteboard slide where you can see their face now. I'm not saying I did that, but if I was an inspiration in one way or another, I love when a hack turns into an actual feature. Those are always fun. And then last but not least, the Pear Deck or Nearpod on the fly activities, where you don't have to create a whole slide deck. You create one slide, and then all you do is whenever a question arises, ask it. Whenever a draw it rises, ask it. And so you don't have to have a whole pre-made lesson. You can do it on the fly. Those are some of my favorite things that I do face-to-face and in this distance learning environment.
You know what I was thinking about recently, and these, because I used to teach primary when I first started teaching. And so, you know, you would have like, especially in preschool, not so much like first grade and up, but they'd have show and tell. So Joe would bring in his cat and I'd say, Joe, tell us about your cat. And Joe loved to, every little kid loves to bring something in for show and tell. We can still do that. So like all these things that we did without technology. Okay, well, I'm on a video camera now, but I can say, let me show and tell about my favorite wine and tell all about it. I wouldn't do that in a classroom, of course, right? Or, you know, kids saying, the teacher saying, all right, boys and girls, we're learning about the letter A. So everyone needs to bring something to show on the call next week or tomorrow that starts with the letter A. So now I get to share and I'm so excited. So that's something you're going to do in the classroom anyway. I was talking to teachers today. Simon Says, your kindergartners are getting sick of watching the screen. Have them stand up and play Simon Says. Like, think past the tech, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, so one thing that I'm, a couple things that I like to do with both face-to-face and distance. We'll start with sketchnoting. That's one thing, anyone who knows me knows I'm passionate about that, getting kids, you know, making their thinking visual through sketchnoting. But how do you do that with distance learning? I've been very passionate about training teachers. Here's how kids can use the mobile apps to submit images of their work. And I spent all day yesterday with one of my two classes that I teach doing practice runs, submitting images of their sketch notes. And yeah, most of them doing it pretty well. So it's we don't need to throw out the pencil and paper just because we are doing distance learning. My other one is screencasting, because I've been doing a lot of screencasting sessions with district, and then outside of my contracted hours, I do some other seminars on Screencastify. And I'm telling people, when we actually do go back face to face, keep going with the screencasting, because if you keep recording your lessons, now you're putting a pause button on the teacher. And so many kids would benefit from that. Your English learners, your SPED students need to have that pause button, and kids get to go at their own pace. And then as kids need feedback, you have one-on-one opportunities to give kids exactly what they need and really personalize that feedback. So again, screencasting, sketch notes, two things that do really well in both worlds.
Yeah.
Yep. I love Screencastify. I mean, if you don't do Screencastify, you're missing out. And because the free version is so diverse, if you don't have your students using it, you're missing out. And then I would also say this as well. You know, when you hack Zoom, you can start realizing some of the things we do in face-to-face are so arbitrary and dumb. Like I'm wearing a cat on my head. Are you going to kick me out because I have a cat on my head? You would kick me out if I had a cat on my head face-to-face, but this is just fun. Now I'm going to turn the cat off. Are you going to kick me out because I have facial hair? Well, guess what? I don't need to have facial hair anymore. I don't. Technology allows me to get rid of the facial hair. Are you going to kick me out because I have a mohawk? Well, I'm going to get it a bigger mohawk here on this. And you're not going to tell that it's a real mohawk. Are you going to be mad because I'm in my pajamas? Well, guess what? I just got out of the shower. So we're finally realizing this dress code thing is arbitrary. It's because we want to have a little bit of control. And you know what? These kids, they're just babies. They're just babies trying to make it. And if we're putting roadblocks in the way of our little babies trying to get into class, we are ridiculous people. So I like to hack Zoom because you know what? If your kid, and I'm talking to you parents out there, if your kid has facial hair and they don't want to shave it, get Snap Camera. Their facial hair is gone. Okay? And they can enjoy the class and teacher will be none the wiser. Because we realize there's a whole bunch of arbitrary stuff in our way to learning and teaching. And I hope this distance learning time allows us to realize what we're putting our focus on doesn't need to be that. It just needs to be the learning, right? Because with a click of a button, it could be gone. So let's just get to work.
Right.
Well said. Well said. Do you realize that we're already
Oh,
past
wow.
time?
Jeez.
What?
The chat's done, isn't that
Oh
nuts?
man, I could do this for another 4 minutes. No.
Yeah, but yeah, we always enjoy chatting with you, Joe, and so many great things that you always share, and we always learn. We really all learn from each other in Q, and I really we couldn't be more pleased to have you in Q leadership in an organization that we love, because we know you love it just as much as we do, if not more. And so yeah, thanks again for being here. We look forward to some great things that the Q is going to be doing for educators.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And you know, Q is only as good as its members. So if you want it even better, join
Yes.
and make it even better.
Now, I one clarifying question. How much does that cost me, Joe?
It's 1, 2, 3, free 99, free,
Oh,
free 99. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That's $0.
$0.00
Okay.
with a tax of 0.
Okay.
There you go.
Perfect.
All right, man. Well, thanks everybody for watching, hanging out here on Facebook Live and on Twitters, and we will see you guys down the road.
Thanks, everybody. Stay cool.